All right, welcome everybody to Chiron Sisters Rising. Excited for you guys to join us. We're going to be doing video this first time, and then we will be also doing live streams too. So you'll get to know me, Nellie Medow, and also my soul sister, Jennette Schilling. So yeah, we're excited for everybody to be a part of this. I think this is like divine intervention for us to do this. We've been talking for a little bit about spirituality and our journeys, and we decided that it's time to come together and provide some offerings to North Node journeys and beyond. So Jennette, thank you for joining me today and being
Yeah.
a part of this. So yeah, like I figure we can kind of just, go back and forth and just share a little bit about ourselves. So
All right.
that way people know who we are. And then we'll talk a little bit about, how we came up with the name with the help and, some other things that are in store.
Hi, I'm Jennette. Also goes by Jennette Starseed. I chose Starseed not just as a name, but as a soul identity because it reflects who I am, how I walk this path, and it helps those who resonate with my cosmic and spiritual truths to find me. I'm a single mom of a beautiful 19-year-old daughter, plus a dog and a cat who are also part of that tribe. And I currently work as an Amazon delivery partner. That's a job that just, keeps me grounded while I'm trying to build what I'm truly called to. I'm also a certified medical assistant. I left the medical field because I no longer resonates with my spirit and the healing that I'm meant to do. And the kind of work I'm meant to do looks different now. My spiritual journey uh, awakened, or I awakened to my spiritual journey in a big way back in March 2018 when I kept seeing the number 44 like multiple times a day for a month and sometimes yeah, 10 or more times a day. And that led me down the rabbit hole of synchronicities and tarot and on a twin flame journey. So that really resonates with me. Over time, I came to realize this path is less about the other person on the twin flame journey and more about coming home to myself, a deep reclamation of self love and soul purpose. So I've gone through many dark night of the souls, uh, which is a deep emotional and spiritual purge that forces us to confront our shadows.
Mhm.
They're painful, raw, and intense, but it's very necessary for awakening for those who uh, are not familiar. So, one cracked me open to more of my truth and helped me embody the shadow worker, light worker, and healer that I came to be. So, like a shadow worker is someone who confronts the parts of themselves that they hide or suppress, while a light worker brings healing and higher truth. So, like many of you, I felt like a pressure cooker, urgency to align with my soul mission, yet still have to survive and pay bills.
Yep.
So, that contrast has been one of my biggest challenges to live both in the physical world and the spiritual one while not losing myself. In 2020, I launched Tarot and Spiritual Guide YouTube channel, a safe space for people walking the awakening path. And I also plan to share more content on both my YouTube and TikTok channels. Uh, Time permitting. I'm currently offering readings through Purple Ocean, but I prefer to give tarot and intuitive readings independently where I can truly connect with people without, the limitations of a third party platform. So lately, I've been feeling a deep calling towards astrology, especially soul aligned birth charts. So I'm really getting into that to helping people to better understand who they are at a spiritual level. I've also written two books that I've got here: The Dark Night of the Soul, a guy.
Awesome.
Oh,
I
you
got I got your
can.
books too. So
Yeah, she's so supportive.
Yeah.
A Guide to Emotional Healing and Renewal. Oh, you can't really see it with my background too well. And The Shift to 5D. Okay, so that's a guide to conscious evolution and global change. So I managed to find time to write those. I intend on writing another one when I can get my schedule right. But both are available on Amazon, the Kindle version and the paperback. And I also hope to release audio versions soon. We'll be starting a book club for the 5D Shift book sometime this month, thanks to Nellie. And so if you're feeling drawn to join, stay tuned for that. Yeah, so that's a little bit about me and where I've been and what I have to offer.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited for all that. And I'm excited for everything that we're going to do.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'll share a little bit about myself too. So my name is Nellie Medow. I started North Node Journeyist March, I think 2023. So it's been a little over a couple years. And I didn't start off as a spiritual person. I haven't been doing this as long as Jennette has, but I gotten like full force into it as I've been into it. In terms of my background, I've also become a single mother. I have three boys, 18, 16, and 10, and they keep me busy. I started off as a teacher, math teacher back in the day. So I don't know, like 26 years ago, I started doing that. And actually wasn't really planning on being a teacher, just kind of happened. I was going to be a lawyer actually at first, and then changed my mind about that. So I've changed my mind a bit. I've gone through a lot of transformation. I got into curriculum work. And then 4 years ago, I was in this what's called like the Uranus opposition period, or some people call it midlife crisis, whatever you want to think of it as. And I realized like I was not doing much with myself professionally, like what I wanted. I was a stay-at-home mom. I worked part-time with tutoring, and I just was like not feeling very fulfilled. And I'm like, I need to do something different with my life. So I don't know, just kind of launched into some like Brene Brown work and started like learning more about like trauma and therapy. And then I got like did this like one like I don't know, this like motivational speaker workshop. And it just got me thinking like, okay, what am I really doing with myself? So I wanted to do something different. I went back to school. I got a degree in organizational psychology, which I'm still like into that degree some, but I like the coaching aspect. And as I started coaching some people, I started meeting spiritual people, and I started seeing numbers as well. And actually it's so funny because I wrote 44 on my arm today, thinking about that as a future tattoo. 44 and a bunch of other angel numbers started to come up for me. I started getting exposed to tarot. I got my first astrology reading. I fell in love with astrology, and I had to learn everything about myself through that lens. And then I got into the North Node because I've always been kind of obsessed with like purpose and soul purpose. So that led me to creating the group so I'd have a place to share. And I like to build community, and it just like made sense. So yeah, just I've done different lives and different podcasts and all kinds of things over the years. And I truly feel like the most fulfilled when I'm helping people in the spiritual way, because I truly believe that we're all spiritual people, whether everybody buys into it or not. I think eventually most people come around, and if they are spiritually awakened, they understand like why we're here. We were here before, we're going to be here later. And I like Jennette's book with everything with the 5D consciousness, because it's so much of like our experience, and it's so yeah, I could get very existential and talk about all these things. But yeah, I just felt like I want to get more people involved, and I got into hypnotherapy and past life regression last year, and that's been more my passion. And I really want to help people heal, because so many people have lived traumas, and we have generational trauma, ancestral trauma, and I just feel like the conversation needs to be open and dealt with. And I don't always think that like going to a therapist or some of the traditional means that people have done really solves the problem. But like if you get Reiki done, you get like an energy reading, like all of these things, I think truly can help us like fix the issues that we have. And I think that can only be done with like people like us, like in the spiritual world. So
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know.
I
I
agree.
feel like I'm excited for what's ahead. The planets have been shifting, like it's
Yes, the
really,
outer planet for
yeah,
sure. I've
right.
been
It's
making,
yeah, it's definitely it's like a different time, and I think the eclipses change some timelines. I know that I wanted to manifest a different timeline. I have. And I feel like it's constantly shifting and growing. And yeah, so in terms of getting a hold of me, um, this is the community that I started, so that's an easy way to reach out to me. You could always connect with me on Messenger. I have my North Node and coaching page, which people connect with me. I've not been big on websites. I do have a website. I don't keep it as much up to date, and I really feel like in this like world that we're in, like it's not as needed. So I feel like if you want to get a hold of me and find me, um, the universe will bring you to me. So you just reach out. I feel like we people connect and they find each other when they need to find each other. So yeah, I'm excited,
you
and I love Jennette's books. And as I read, especially I was having like a tough period in March when my husband passed, and I felt like I was definitely in another dark night of the soul. So that book was helpful. And then I'm very much into gene keys and how the earth is changing. And when I saw Jennette's newest book and read it, I was like, wow, that's very much in line with all of what I've learned like last year too, which I try to integrate into everything that I do. So yeah, I'm excited for us to do the book club and like have these conversations because I think we
me
need to
too.
have them. Yeah, so I just need to spread the word about all of this because things are changing whether people like it or not. And I
They
think
are very much.
awareness is so important. So yeah, Jennette and I were talking about like pulling a card, and I was going to share a rune for the collective because we want to do things for others. And in coming both videos and lives, we'll be sharing more. So we're still figuring out all the different things that we're going to do together, but we just wanted to at least start off this way just to have an introduction so you guys know who we are. As the group has grown, we have a lot of different people here, so wanted to make you aware, and also find out what types of things you would like to see because we're both community builders, with our backgrounds. So yeah, so Jennette, if you want to like pull a card and we'll see like what it needs to tell us, and I'll get
All right. So
ready.
I was gonna pull a card from the Energy Oracle, but I feel like so many people have the Energy Oracle deck. So I want to use one that isn't really commonly known of. It's Angels and Ancestors deck here.
Oh, I have it too. It's 144,
You
by the
do?
way.
Oh, it is.
Like
That is
yeah, it's like
another sync that we commonly see.
yeah, 44 is the most common angel number. And I feel like when I was coming into my spirituality, I started seeing numbers a lot and also
Yeah,
certain
me too.
angels.
So I don't know what kind of numbers our audience is seeing, but uh, often I see, I mean, with Nellie and I both started out with 44 and 1111, and then it's grown since then to other numbers like 144, 1010, 111, 222, 333,
Right.
444,
I know.
555.
I see all those all the time. So my birthday's the 22nd, so
Also,
I see 22, but I also see 44 all the time everywhere. It's my number of reassurance and protection. It also connects with Archangel Michael. So anytime I
mhm,
see 44, or if I see somebody in my life and they reached out to me 44 minutes ago, or their message was something 44, or whatever it is, I know that we're supposed to connect.
yes.
Yeah, there's no accidents for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely a good synchronicity to know that. So we got Shapeshifter, trying to find it here.
Ooh, it's a powerful card.
Shapeshifter. So I think that resonates for us here. Transform and unveil your gifts. So take your time and focus on developing your gifts and strengths. In shamanic traditions, the shapeshifter is either an animal that has the capacity to change between species or a shaman who has the capacity to transform into an animal to go journeying. If there is a wild animal you're particularly drawn to or fascinated by, like for me, it's bald eagles.
Okay.
It's probably because you can transform into one in your meditation or journeying practice to exploring other worlds. When you shift into animal form, you can see the world through different eyes and tap into the animal's survival skills to help yourself through a particular situation. And which I've thought about that too, because eagles are so resilient and they've overcome so much. Like there's the time in their life, I think it's like, I don't know, 20 something or 30 years down the road, they actually have to break off their beak
Hmm.
so that a new one will grow because it's like falling apart. So they actually have to go through survival all over again. Um, So the extended message is you may have been through many challenges and lows, but now you're in a space of transformation. You're moving beyond your past challenges and honing your current strengths. There's opportunities for you to discover and rediscover the gifts and talents that you're born with and born to share. All of your past experiences have only helped you to see how strong you really are. You're an amazing soul and can change and transform in ways that people least expect. You may have talents that you will share in your lifetime, or sorry, you will have many. You're guided to stay focused on the light, knowing that it will guide you forward. So this is also an opportunity for you to tap into your animal spirit and know if you see a particular animal regularly, it's because its medicine is coming to you.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Fascinating. I love that message of transformation because I think that's what we do when we're talking with people, right? Like we're, as whatever whether it's tarot, whether it's astrology, whatever, you know, the thing is, we're trying to change people. And the animal that I see is a snake because I feel like that, like I actually don't even have my snake ring on today, but I have snake rings and different jewelry. And I'm also year of the snake in the Chinese zodiac. And so I associate with that because I feel like I'm constantly changing and transforming.
Shedding
I
your
wish I
skin.
didn't. I wish I didn't. I wish I could kind of be stable, but apparently I can't. I have to keep
Well,
growing and changing.
that's
So,
us on the spiritual path, right? Like it's
right.
hard. Ours, the universe doesn't want us to relax into something. It wants us to grow out of our comfort zone and
Yeah, that's
embody the
true.
best that we can be.
Right. And I feel like that's the nature of it. And the only thing that we can count on is change. Like even in my last degree, we
Mhm.
talked a lot about change management, that the companies that stick around are willing to change and grow. Because if you get
Right.
too complacent and too stagnant, you will get competition. So yeah, we're constantly evolving. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that energy is important. Makes me think of like Pluto and Aquarius right now because I feel like there's so much
Hmm.
technology and innovation and like so much needs to change. It's like the tower card. Everything has to come falling down. We need new
Yeah.
paradigms, new ideas, we don't need the patriarchy. There's certain things that
Right.
follow
Exactly.
through needs to change. And you're Aquarius sun, and I feel like you embody that. And I have Mercury and Saturn in my 11th house, and I feel like very much always like I like to build community, and I always feel like life was easier like when we were actually a village, when people were neighborly, because like we don't do
Right.
that well with every man for themselves or every woman for themselves. It's like we really need people to be the most successful. And I'm North Node Libra, you're North Node Gemini.
Yes.
Uh,
So
So, I
both
mean,
in air signs.
right. And, the Libra is we always do better connecting instead of me being in my South Node Aries. I'm a warrior. I don't need you. Let me just do my thing. I can do
Right.
that, but I don't feel the most fulfilled Because I've done
Right.
many lifetimes in that Aries way. Now I need to be living the Libra way. And for you, it's, the Gemini makes so much sense, just like with you writing your books and sharing and having like a platform to, communicate your message.
Well,
Just this medium itself, like, helps you
yeah.
fulfill that North Node mission.
When I was learning about North Node and Gemini, it was saying that I'm meant to be a master communicator. And honestly, I mean, I'm still shy in some ways, but I've come a long ways from like high school because I was super shy then.
Yeah.
But
Well, you're not going to be shy anymore.
through
Clearly.
my through my spiritual awakening and becoming more confident in who I am, I think that's awakened quite a bit. So
Right. Well, we don't really
lining
like
up.
learn like that North Node mission. It's really probably by the time like of like that second nodal return, like it's probably somewhere like 36, 37 is where we start to like really start to think about it. And that wasn't that like long ago for you. That was
No,
probably around like
yeah,
you're getting into ideas more.
yeah,
Um,
that was deeper into my awakening. Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, we're not going to really understand it back on that first one when we're like around 18 years old. We start to think about ideas.
Hmm.
I was also really shy too. I
Hmm.
did a scale the other day, a professional thing, and it showed I was extroverted, which is funny because, like, I mean, I know that about myself now, but like, nobody would have said that back when I was in high school because I never raised my hand, I never talked. I totally became a different person once I hit college. So, yeah, I think like life changes us and transforms us, and like we're not in the mission that we are supposed to be in like that early. I think it takes time to evolve and grow.
It
And
does for sure.
yeah, and I would realize I need to talk about Chiron too, but let me pull a rune. So I have a little bag. There's 24 runes of Odin, and they also provide spiritual messages. So I do the tarot as well and oracle. And I got into the runes. I don't know, a friend of mine was into them, and I thought it was kind of fascinating. So okay, let's see what we get. I get this one often. Okay, I'm gonna just, I don't know if we can see it. It looks like a B. It looks backwards, but it's Burkana. And so Burkana, like I consider it with like the divine feminine. I'm gonna use my cheat sheet because like I don't have all of it memorized because I'm still newer to it. But Burkana represents a birch tree. It symbolizes femininity, fertility, healing, regeneration, and birth. And so I feel like we are. It's like the same kind of message, like that shapeshifter card, because we're transforming, we're growing, and here we are in the divine feminine, um, tapping into those energies that are also very useful and very powerful. And whether you're a male or a female or whatever designation you have, we all need to tap into our divine feminine because there's certain skills about being relational and conversational and intuitive, that's different than
Right.
our
Emotional
usual,
intelligence.
like hustle culture of, all getting stuff done, is getting stuff done in a different way. So yeah, I think that's a good message
That's
for us
fitting.
to like
Yeah.
tap into our femininity. And I realized we didn't mention the name, how we came up with Chiron Sisters
Chiron.
Rising. So and Chiron in general. So yeah, I figured we can chat about that a little bit. So you were telling me, Jennette, about like when we were trying to figure out names,
Right.
you had mentioned like looking at our birth chart to find some
Yeah, to make
similarity.
it more personal. So we wouldn't end up using somebody else's name or, something. Want something that's going to stick, but be personal for us and something that had drawn us together. So I suggested for us to look at our birth charts and see if we had any commonalities. And Chiron in the eighth house and
In
Taurus.
Taurus, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't know the stats or the math, but I would have to think that the likelihood of two potential people coming together who have the same exact Chiron placement has to be fairly slim. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I do know other people that have Chiron in Taurus. That's true, like that happens, but I don't know that many people who have Chiron in Taurus in the eighth house. And I've had some of the similarities we have. So, like,
Right.
as
And
we're
that has to
choosing a
do with
name, made
it
sense.
has to do with healing the abandonment wound, betrayal, and uh, trying to heal the instability with money.
Yes.
I guess. Yeah. So
Scarcity
here we are.
mindset. Yeah. Well, and that is so true because I actually got into on my very second astrology reading, I did a whole deep dive on Chiron with my astrology teacher because she told me that she thought it'd be important. She also has Chiron and Taurus. And so I learned all about Chiron. I did a webinar last year, and I get into all this stuff with past lives. And so the nature of the asteroid or dwarf planet, whatever you want to call it, of Chiron, it's also very karmic. It's very fated. And I think it's fascinating, and I feel like for us to, the Chiron Sisters Rising, I think it's like, yeah, we do have the Chiron in common. We've encountered a lot of things that are traumatic. We've had to
Yeah.
heal those things. We're still healing those things. We help other people heal their wounding. I mean, that is very Chiron, and we're rising up.
Mhm.
We're not
Right.
letting that, bring us down. So
Yeah.
yeah, it felt fitting. And as I analyzed the
That,
numerology, the numerology was a nine, and which I thought was also fitting because nine is very much for the greater good, like humanitarian social justice causes, which I feel is also very true to who we are. Because we're not just trying to like better our own life, we're trying to like help
right.
other people
Exactly.
raise the
We're light
consciousness.
workers,
Yes, exactly. But we
shadow
can see
workers.
the dark side. We can see the dark side and explore the shadows, because we cannot act like there is all light because there has to be both, right? There has
Mhm.
to be the dark and the light.
Right. You have
So,
to heal your shadows to see the light.
right, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll share all this right now, but I mean, I did get into Chiron as the wounded healer. I do have that on the group. So maybe like in a future session, we'll get into that a little bit more. Because that can become its own like conversation. Because yeah,
Right. There's a lot of
if you don't heal those things, then you're just gonna end up having more issues in this
and hurting
lifetime.
other people
Right. You'll injure other
and
people, and then
continuing
you're
to
just
hurt
gonna have,
yourself.
yeah, and we're gonna have to explore it in the next lifetime, and we don't want to have to do that. So we'd
Right. We
rather
want to
be
break the
done.
cycle, break the
Exactly.
pattern,
Exactly. So
rise above it.
yeah, so I think we'll wrap up, and we will, be on in future videos and some lives so we can get some more interactive features. Be looking forward to more of our own individual content coming out too. So we'll be doing some things together. We'll be
Yeah, we're
doing
going to
things
motivate each
separately.
other.
Yeah, we're working on being accountability partners because sometimes
Yeah.
it's hard to always self-motivate no matter who
Mhm.
you are, no matter where your Aries, your Mars and all of that. It just sometimes it helps to have another person. I
Exactly.
think we're stronger together for sure. So thank you, Jennette, for
And thank you, Nellie.
starting this with me. I appreciate it. And yeah, looking forward to more. And you guys can reach out to us in this community on our pages, and we'll link some things up with this video. And yeah, stay tuned. And as you have questions or comments, feel free to reach out. And we want to, make the group and our, personal communities grow and, meet the needs that people have. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Been a pleasure.